We're live.
All right, good evening. Vermillion County Election Board, come to order. And let's stand and do the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Clerk Tammy Lowry.
Here, present.
Okay, Democrat Representative John Sanquidetti.
Present.
And Republican Representative and Chair Bill Reynolds is present. We'll say a couple things up front, and then we'll turn it over to Tammy. She has a lot of details and want everyone to know what's being planned and how it's going to be executed or processed. Our main objective is to save money by going to vote centers instead of having all the different precinct locations. Consolidating that down, it will save in excess of $14,000 per year in an election year, which is not every year, but every other year. And there's in between, there are municipal elections for the city of Clinton. They too will save some money through this consolidation process. It's a proposal. It's been kicked around for several years. There are 65 other counties in the state that are already doing it, so it's not a new concept. More than 2/3 are already involved in doing it that way. So, Tammy, you want to give them some highlights?
Well, you kind of took some of my stuff,
Well, I'm
so
sorry.
That's okay. Vote centers have been talked about for a couple of years between the election board and myself. There are 92 counties in Indiana and 65 are vote centers. We're just catching up at this point. We want to go to vote centers before the state makes everyone go to vote centers. The county will save on locations, the amount of people we use. Just with those two alone, it would be a savings of $6,800. We have the equipment that we'll need each year, other than this year. We have elections in May and November. And where we used to have 70 people working the precincts, we will now have 35 people working. And our locations will go down from 14 to 7 locations. We also have a savings on food that is purchased for the poll workers. We give about $30 a day for them. And the savings on that would be $1,000, $1,050. We also provide insurance for our voting locations, so that's another savings that we're going to have. I think Bill said it. You say 15,000 plus?
Yeah,
14,000
it's in
plus?
excess of 14. 15 is probably closer with the meals. I didn't count that in. Yeah, so it's significant.
Yeah.
Taxpayer dollars we're talking about here.
The meetings that we're having tonight and on May 19th at the Clinton Public Library at 6 p.m., they're mandatory meetings. We're here to hear anything that you guys want to add. We will take back with us and we will look things over. And if we feel we need to make changes at that point, we will. I'm going to read to you a little letter that I've put together that we're going to send out to all active voters. Since the voting center became a reality in Indiana elections in 2008, leaders in Vermillion County have been evaluating the benefit to voters, county budgets, and on election process. The vote centers give any voter in Vermillion County the opportunity to cast their ballot at any vote center location throughout the county. A registered voter may vote once at any of the 7 voting centers located in Vermillion County on election day. In addition to making it easier for voters on election day, having vote center also provides early voting opportunities at satellite vote centers that are open prior to election day. The most frequent questions we hear in an election are, where is my polling place? Or why can't I just vote at the polling place across the street from where I work? A common complaint is, I can't make it back to the polls by 6 p.m. on election day. Vote centers address these common voter concerns. Another benefit of vote centers is the financial impact. it will have on Vermillion County. Having to staff fewer locations and provide less equipment will save Vermillion County on items such as poll workers and equipment costs. Data shows moving to vote centers improves voter convenience, voter turnout increases, election administration is streamlined and easier, improving Vermillion County's long-term fiscal stance when it comes to elections. As always, we will continue to have early in-person voting at the courthouse. In addition, there will now be 3 locations open on the last 2 Saturdays before the election. Most Americans have been voting under the same process for over 50 years. Vote centers represent a major step forward in bringing elections into the 21st century. The deadline to register to vote in the May primary is at the end of business on April 6th. Also, if a voter turns 18 prior to the November general election, they may register to vote now and be eligible to vote in the May primary election. Many have worked so hard in the bipartisan manner to move the county towards vote centers. Vermillion County should be so proud of its community leaders who work together for what will be best for the citizens. To all the churches, community centers, and businesses that have willingly allowed us to use their facilities as voting locations, we are forever grateful. The 7 voting centers that we have come and decided on right now are Highland American Legion, the Cayuga American Legion, Dana Firehouse, the Clinton Firehouse, the Fairview Firehouse, Newport Lions Club, and the Wayside Church. The 3 locations for the Saturdays will be here at the courthouse, the Clinton Public Library, and Highland American Legion. The courthouse and the public library, we will be opening the entire 2 weeks to 28 days, depending on what the legislation tells us. Highland will be open the 2 Saturdays for early voting. You guys want to add anything?
Yeah, she mentioned the legislature, there is a election committee, and there may be some stuff forthcoming that will not impact what we're doing here. But as far as the times that early voting occur, that might be mandated changes, but we don't anticipate that. So this is the general operation that we're dealing with. Okay. So
I'd like to add that of the 7 that we picked for voting centers, there was a lot of thought put in this as far as voters showing up to vote and the size of the facility. Like out at Universal, when we had voting out there, that thing was smaller than one-room schoolhouse. And the firehouse out in Centenary, that's the same way. So for Clinton Township 1, 2, and 3, that's what we designated. Like she said, you could vote at any place in Vermillion County. But for Township 1, 2, and 3, we picked Wayside Church. That's the one that has the biggest area to set up machines, and it's close to Universal, it's close to Centenary.
big parking area too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, John's right. A lot of thought went into this, try to centralize it to minimize inconvenience. We realize it is going to negatively impact some people as far as travel. Maybe I shouldn't mention that, but it is an obvious thing. But we're trying to minimize that, centralize things, and find the most convenient location in each one of those regions. So, you know, there was a lot of thought put into this. All right, we as an election board, we want to hear comments, and we will make a recommendation. And we have another meeting. You want to give them the date?
Yeah, the next meeting that we'll have is May 19th at 6 p.m. at the Clinton Public Library.
There's a requirement that we have 2 hearings, and they have to be 30 days apart or more.
Yes.
So we want everybody to have a chance to speak and get on the record.
So do we have anybody that has any comments or anything they would like to add?
If you have comments to make, come forward, state your name.
Well, I guess not.
We just feel it's a good thing for the voters because, like we were talking before the meeting started up here, if someone lives in the city of Clinton they pull up to the firehouse and vote. If they've got a line of people coming out of there, all they gotta do is drive to Fairview, drive the wayside, it's less than a mile each way, they can go vote.
Or if they happen to work, maybe they live in Clinton and maybe they are working in Cayuga, then they can go to the Cayuga American Legion on their lunch hour and vote. And vice versa, you know, if they're working in Clinton, you know, they can go to the Clinton Firehouse or one of the other two locations.
And most people in this county, if they wanna do any shopping, the real shopping, they go to Clinton, they go to IGA, they go to Walmart. So they've got any number of places where they can stop vote.
Oh, we got some comment.
Is that microphone on? Okay, all right.
Ginger Corrado. I would just like to say I've worked the polls in the past, and a big plus I can see is these locations, most of all of them, I assume, have internet access, good internet access. I worked at 2 polls where the internet was an issue, and it took the clerks and the clerks' workers, you know, time for them to come and straighten out the problem and then come back to the courthouse. And it was stressful, you know, people would be waiting, you know, and that was years ago when it was at St. Bernice. But I see that as a positive.
Well, I'm not saying that we're not gonna have technical difficulties, because we may.
No.
But we've got half the
You
locations
will
we
have
gotta worry about.
access, that's true.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's a tech standing by that is able to dispatch and go solve those problems, but yeah, less places to go solve problems, so that is a big plus.
Well, and then another thing that brings to mind is most of these locations also have a battery backup. So if there is bad weather, you know, there is battery backups there that, you know, will keep us up and running.
So as I said before, we will make a recommendation after we have the 2 hearings and gather the information, and we'll make a recommendation, and we'll take the commissioners to actually rule on this in order for the change to be made. But we want to provide them with the best information we can to make that decision. And even though there's not a lot of comments tonight, I appreciate the ones that are made. I think this being available streaming, people can hear it and understand what's coming and get the facts. That's a big thing. I've heard some, talked to a guy yesterday in another county, and he was telling me some things that were the old way, not the new way. So we want everyone to understand how it's going to be, what the benefits, advantages, etc. are. So glad we've had that opportunity.
Me too.
Did everybody pick a copy of this up at the front door?
If you haven't, there's a copy of this letter, which you all will receive. And it is out on the podium out there if anybody wants to grab one.
Nedra Tilley. I want to also remind everyone, we do have absentee voting
Oh, yes.
by mail, so I mean, nothing's changed there. You can still vote by absentee, and we encourage it if you're unable to make it to the polls. And of course, Tammy knows we have traveling board too. So.
Yep.
But it's something that needs to be done. We like to do things before it's forced down our throats. The fact that 65 out of 92 counties have already gone to this, it's something that needs to be done because there's savings there. And I appreciate the board for all your hard work.
Good, thank you.
Nedra.
Yeah, good thing about the reason we're doing it this year, there are no elections within the county this year, no city elections, no county elections. And so it's an opportunity, we have some leisure to make the changes and make it and do it right. So if we're going to do it, this is a year to do it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to be another 4 years before that opportunity would come up.
Absolutely. Penny Carpenter, Eugene Township. I too have worked the polls in the past. They're at Cayuga and in Eugene when they were separate. Now that they're going to be together, I do agree with that location. The parking's excellent. The handicap's excellent. You've got plenty of room. Since you're combining the two, will there be this? Will both of the ballot or the voting machines? Will there be twice as many since you're combining them?
We'll actually have 5 machines at every location.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Very good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're
You're
going to
welcome.
have 2 poll pads too, I think.
Yes, and we're gonna have 2
Yeah.
poll pads, so they can check in quicker. They can have 2 different lines.
And those machines are not designated as one or the other.
Right.
They can vote on either machine.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I've seen times working elections myself where the poll pad was kind of the choke point. You couldn't vote them any faster on the machines than you could get them through the poll pad. So we'll have 2 at each
2 at each
location
location.
to try to speed things up. Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
All right.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn.
Any closing comments, I guess? No closing
Nope,
comments?
no closing.
Okay,
You
second?
good?
I'm good.
All right, we are adjourned.